Peace and welcome to Earth Crowns. Today I'm going to be doing an instructional tutorial. It's for a crown that I created the other day, which I kind of haven't named yet, but I'm thinking of the theme of the earth, although my entire whole project is Earth Crowns, right? So I'm either thinking of earth wrap or nature wrap, because this particular crown has a lot of green in it. So I'm gonna start it off. I'm using two scarves. The first scarf is this blue, dark blue, solid color scarf, and the second one is this different pattern sari scarf, but it's basically of different greens. Now I'm gonna start this off by placing the blue solid color scarf in a horizontal position in a downward manner, and I'm gonna make sure that my ends match. If you notice, I did not tie it. I didn't fold before tying it. I didn't fold this blue scarf, right? I didn't fold it because it's actually not as wide as the other scarves that I usually have or other fabrics that I use. It's actually pretty narrow, in the narrow side. Now the second step is basically taking care of this left tail that's hanging. It's on your right, and I'm just basically making sure it's nice and neat as it's tucked in to make space for the next scarf, which is the green sari. And the green sari, placing it, I'm looking for the colors that I want to work with, and I want to have this solid green, kind of a forest green, which goes well. It contrasts well with this blue. So I'm also checking that the ends match. I'm not tying it, but I am folding it like this, right? I don't want too much bulk in the back, and because the sari is so dense, because it has so many scarves woven into one, I don't want it to bulk up. So what I'm going to do now is, right, I have two tails on my right side, which is your left, and then I have just one tail of the sari on my left. I'm bringing that tail up a little bit on the diagonal side, right, just a little bit diagonally, and I'm bringing this blue tail up, and what I'm doing is I'm just gonna loop it from the back to the front, and I'm just gonna kind of let these two tails hang like that, okay? And then I'm gonna work with this tail. What I'm doing with this tail is basically just arranging it so that I can bring it up like this. And I'm gonna cover the blue by also looping this, okay? So I'm gonna gently just tuck this in here like that, okay? Make sure there's enough, and then this, I am placing it in the same way as the other side, right? There's this nice little pocket here, and you're placing it as neat as possible. Now with this tail that's left here, I am opening it up and just kind of like diagonally placing it in the back there, okay? And one thing that I will do is, again, bring this to the front. And now I'm going to finish this off with these earrings that I have here that go perfectly well. These earth earrings. Okay. And I'm going to turn around so that you can see the nature or earth or tree crown. I don't have a name for it yet, but again, right, I am just rearranging things so that you can see the different colors. All right, so I'm gonna just turn around so that you can see the end, but feel free when you complete this to rearrange it in whatever form you want. So there you have it. Usually I try to have some of the blue show in the back there for more complexity, right? But this was a great crown. I loved it because of just the complexity of the lines, all the different turns, and it comes out different each time. This is not the exact replica of the first picture that I took, but it's you know, it's pretty close to the original. And I loved when I did it. I remembered some of the techniques, and there you have it. So thank you so much, and have a great day. Peace. And it's not quite peace yet. I wanted to finish off with just a few words. I usually start with a few words, but I decided that I kind of want to just go straight into the crown. You know, this crown actually goes in perfect harmony, perfect balance with a holiday that's coming up, and that is the Thanksgiving. And I wanted just to share a few words on Thanksgiving. I don't celebrate this particular holiday. I don't partake in its activities. That is actually, to me, one of the most revolutionary ways in which you can start to enact change. To enact change, a lot of people, right, most of us, our first reaction, right, is to react. Is to take action, is to go ahead and let's show them, you know, let's do this. We need to, you know, do this. But the revolution starts within the self. And so the way that we start to lead our lives is very important in enacting change, because nobody can really take the choices away from you. Individual choice is a freedom, right? Because sometimes individual choice, unfortunately, is heavily controlled. But when you're armed with critical thinking, when you're armed with knowledge of self, then you can have the proper mental tools to then incorporate it into your actions, into your daily living. And so this becomes right, and this becomes why I'm not partaking into any of the activities for Thanksgiving. It's not only about, oh, they killed all these native Indians, you know, it's not only about that. It's a whole bunch of things, and I mean, they would take up so much time in this video. But the first thing that I will say is that the narrative of the Native American as being one of genocide is erroneous. It's erroneous because they are still here. They're still here, whether they're still in their tribal communities, obviously experiencing tremendous marginalization at the cost you know, of their lives. One of my favorite women in this world is Rigoberta Menchu, and she's a Mayan fighter, and I loved her her book, I, Rigoberta Menchu. Pick that up if you can. She describes the complexities of her struggle, and you know, the Mayan example is not for us to just take it as a case study. It's actually what's happening all over the world with native tribes. There's a lot of correlation with Rigoberta's people and tribes in Africa, and even tribes in Southeast Asia, in Asia, right? The Aborigines in Australia. We're all connected, and a lot of us, right, it's in our blood. If we're not in those tribes, it's in our blood. We have become mestizos, or we have become mulattos, or we have become, right, especially for the so-called Latino, this is a very important day, because yes, a lot of us like to say, oh, because, you know, we are a mix between European and Taino and African. Well, we like to say that, always use it as an excuse, either to, one, negate our Africanness, because sometimes the native, right, is used as an excuse to negate the African component of our culture. And two, it is used to promote this confused state, why we have identity issues. And I think the reason why we have more identity issues is not because of this triple manifestation of ethnicities that makes us. No, it has to do because we live in the U.S. society. We live in a spectrum of black and white, and anything in between is confusing. So Latinos find it very hard to take one or the other. I know that, to take an acting example, Gina Torres has always spoken about, I love her as an actress. She's a, Afro-Cuban actress, but she's always spoken about her struggle in playing Latino roles. That's why I kind of like seeing her in Suits, because in Suits, she actually plays a Latina in the show, but she's always talked about her struggles in Hollywood because there are no roles for Latinas, especially a brown looking Latina, right? Because Latinas, we come in all different shades, and we're all black. So with this, I'm bringing this example because the indigenous is still living through us. The indigenous is still here. Some of us have degrees of assimilation into society because I like to always use, Sunyas Alam, my educator, always has said that, in order for the survival of the indigenous people, specifically in the Western Hemisphere, to take place, a lot of them had to sell out and make concessions in many ways. They had to make certain concessions in order to ensure the survival of their lineage. And, this could have been adapting, right, European ways of dressing. And Rigoberta called these people Ladinos. The Ladino is somebody that has left their tribal community, right, and that has adapted ways of living that are more in accord to the mainstream, right, of society. And so with this, I say that the native blood is very much real. We are still alive. It is in the lineage of many people. And although, like I said before, for the Latino specifically, this is why we come in such rich variety of phenotypes. And so with that, I also want to kind of say, this is why in particular, I don't partake in the activities of this holiday. People want to excuse it as a giving thanks, but we must be responsible individuals and we must inform ourselves. We must get the knowledge of the true history of this, and that is also a component of not partaking into these activities. One of my favorite sources into Thanksgiving, and he's very thugged out. He's Afrocentric. He's the bomb, and his name is Dr. Barashango. His books is called African People and European Holidays, a Mental Genocide. Again, right? This brother is building on these different holidays, and he goes into Thanksgiving. Who were these pilgrims that made it here? And unfortunately, he does shed light. He has proof of the cannibalism that was taking place by the pilgrims, of the all the other things that they were doing that were extremely savage, that shocked the natives, and that, really got the natives to really civilize and help these pilgrims set themselves into a society. So, obviously before their massacre, but I'm gonna show the book. This is book 1 and this is book 2. So, be responsible, research, and understand why this holiday is just absurd. And as original people, we need to start making change by not participating. Yes, you can excuse yourself saying, but I'm just gonna get together with family today. You need to start breaking the spiritual cycle. Everything is manifested from the self first. So in order for big change to happen, for people to stop partaking into this holiday, we must start with ourselves first. And and coincidentally, right, why is it that Black Friday is around this time too? Let's think about all that. That's the economic component that comes into this holiday, that has us people, we're original people, as Black people, we're getting paid, whatever. It's about family, right? The family thing starts with Thanksgiving. It gets more accentuated during the Christmas time, right? But again, all these things, let's research it. Let's really look into the situation, and let's make true revolution. Peace to all my original peoples, and this is why Thanksgiving is very important, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on it. Peace.